Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ROK-U.S. Alliance Peace Conference conducted by the Korea Defense Veterans Association and the Korea-U.S. Alliance Foundation. KDVA and KUSIF are thankful for the conference's sponsor, the Korean Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs. This is the third and final Alliance Peace Conference of 2021. The first was in July in Washington, D.C., and the second was in Seoul during the week of the ROK-U.S. Security Consultative Meeting in late November. I am Colonel Retired Steve Lee, the Senior Vice President of KDVA, and your MC for today's conference. Before I introduce our opening speakers, I would like to provide some administrative information. This conference is being recorded in both Korean and English, and the videos will be available next week on the KDVA Digital Library online and in our YouTube channel. We are observing Hawaii's COVID health guidelines, so please keep your masks on unless you're actively eating or drinking. We have KN94 masks that were donated by our partners, the Korea Veterans Association, South Korea's largest veterans organization. They sent thousands of these high-quality masks to KDVA from Korea during the start of the pandemic, and we gave them to veterans' homes and organizations. So thank you, KVA. Okay, now let's take a look at the agenda. All righty. So we will start with opening remarks. Then we will have plated lunch served in this room. After lunch, we will conduct panel one called the DPAA's Mission Keeps Promise to Veterans and Their Families. DPAA stands for Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. Then after a break, we will have panel two for the role of Indo-Pacific Command in ROK-U.S. Defense and Diplomacy. During the Q&A sessions, we really do welcome your participation, but we ask that you keep your questions and comments short and relevant to the topic. Then we invite everyone to the foyer just outside those doors for beer and wine social hour so that we can connect and deepen our relationships. As with so many things in Hawaii, there is a distinct word that is actually better than, I think, the rest of the United States uses. And for social hour, I was told that in Hawaii, it's pauhana, right? So we'll do a big pauhana at the end to close out this wonderful event. During our breaks, please spread out into the foyer, and once we resume the conference, please come back into the conference room and join us. We will have refreshments throughout to your right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce the Chairman and President of the Korea Defense Veterans Association, General Retired Vincent Brooks, who is a former commander of the United Nations Command, ROK-U.S. Combined Forces Command, U.S. Forces Korea, and he is also a former commander of the U.S. Army Pacific here in Hawaii. Together for the ROK-U.S. Alliance is the motto of the Korea Defense Veterans Association because we really do believe and do everything to help out the Alliance and our veterans. General Brooks embodies that motto, and we are thankful that he cares deeply about the Alliance and our veterans. He also has a strong desire for KDVA to connect and convene, and that is what we are all doing here today. We are connecting several organizations and convening this conference to provide these organizations a platform for how they can support the Alliance and our veterans. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome General Brooks for his opening remarks.
Well, good afternoon. I guess this afternoon almost, in a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen, and to our friends in Korea who are also joining us, we say 안녕하십니까 and 감사합니다. Thank you for being on the net with us today. It is my great honor to stand before you as the Chairman and President of the Korea Defense Veterans Association and to welcome all of you to this third Alliance Peace Conference. As Steve mentioned, this is the third in a series this year. The other two have been very successful, and I'm certain with the panelists that we have lined up and our speaker today that it will be equally successful. And we certainly appreciate your participation and your support, not only today, but in the days to come. So we ask you to stay engaged with us as we continue our work Korea Defense Veterans Association is a growing organization. It's only 3 years old now, and we are just getting started with many good things that are ahead of us, particularly with your support. And on the topic of support, we could not do what we do without the extraordinary support of the Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs from the Republic of Korea, but also, and most especially, our strong partner, and that's the Korea-U.S. Alliance Foundation. And I want to introduce for just a moment the honorary chairman of the Korea-U.S. Alliance Foundation, Chairman excuse me, I'm having a break on Lee Gon-soo, my goodness. How many times have we spent hours together? So Chairman Lee Gon-soo, please stand and let us give you a round of applause. And the president of the Korea-U.S. Alliance Foundation is my good friend and a mentor of in many ways, and a big brother, and that's General Jung Seung-jo. So if you please stand up as well. Thank you, sir. And you'll be hearing from him in just a moment. Of course, we are very, very honored today to hear from the Consul General of the Republic of Korea to Hawaii, a very important role that is part of the connection of this alliance. And if you haven't already met him, I would like to introduce him to the group and have him stand for just a short moment of applause. That's the Consul General Hong Sok-in. We do have two great panels lined up today, and I want to thank all the panelists in advance for their participation, both here in person and by electronic means, but especially to our two moderators who will guide the discussions today. Dr. Mimi Bird, who's sitting here from APCSS. We're delighted to have you. If you just would like to stand up for just a moment and let us see you. Thank you very much. And Dr. Stephen Norper as well, another great scholar who will be helping with the second panel. I do want to highlight two more people in the room so that you can get to know them. We have one chapter under the Korea Defense Veterans Association. It was our initial chapter, and it's in the Republic of Korea. And Major General retired Lee Seung is the president of that chapter. Please give him a round of applause. And that's our forward connection, if you will, in Korea to keep those who are currently serving the alliance and those who previously served and remain in Korea connected to this effort that we're undertaking. But we're going to activate a second chapter, and we chose to do that here in Hawaii. Given the great concentration that there is and the great history that we'll talk about today of the roles played from Hawaii connecting to the rest of the region and certainly within the Korea-U.S. Alliance. And the president of that new chapter is Rich Lentz. So Rich, if you please stand on this side. And I do hope that if you haven't already signed up and you're here in Hawaii, sign up. And we would love to have your support. He's going to need that support to help get us started and off to a running start and taking off from there. Ladies and gentlemen, our alliance remains very, very important. We say that at every event. It's important to us, it's important to our two countries, and it's important to the world. And our efforts are to keep the alliance strong, as well as to keep it in the forefront of the minds of our citizens and others abroad. The contributions of the Korea-U.S. Alliance are extensive, and the nature of our connection is deep and extensive as well. And we'll talk about some of that today. So as you are enjoying the session today, we certainly appreciate your active participation, your comments, your insights, your questions as well to help us get the very best out of this that we can. Remember, we have others who are not present who are watching, and they too can participate if they want to push questions into the room. And we'll address those as they occur through the help of our Master of Ceremonies. And let me finally end by saying thanks to Steve Lee and Erlene Hollerith, who really were the action agents behind the scene to make all this happen, with an even broader supporting cast that they've been able to recruit into service to help us get this event done today. So thank you all once again for joining us. Enjoy the event. Kamsahamnida, Together for the Alliance.
All right, thank you, General Brooks. So, ladies and gentlemen, General Retired Jung Seung is the president of the Korea-U.S. Alliance Foundation and a former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in South Korea. KUSEF is a premier professional organization in Korea that supports the alliance, and they have a dynamic and recognized leader in General Jung. Through his leadership and personal drive, we're talking personal drive, folks, the Alliance Peace Conference in Seoul a few weeks ago was able to bring together the Blue House, which is the equivalent of our White House, several members of the Korean cabinet, and leading scholars and government officials, all to support the alliance. It was a tremendous success and helped build a stronger alliance. We are very thankful that he's able to join us, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome General Jung, sir.
Let me put off my mask for clear pronunciation. Good morning, everybody here and the audiences in Korea, and good afternoon or maybe good evening for the audiences in continental United States. Thank you for joining here. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so glad to be able to have this conference while we have very serious concerns with COVID-19. First, General Brooks, thank you for your leadership you showed to organize this wonderful event. Honorable Hong Seok-in, the Republic of Korea Consul General in Hawaii, welcome, and thank you very much for your passions for the alliance to join the conference and give a speech today. Moderators, panel members of the conference, welcome, and thank you for your hard work to prepare for the conference. Audiences, either in person or via Zoom, welcome, and thank you for your active presence at this conference. The donors, the members of KUSEF and KDVA, you are always showing the patriotism by real actions. Thank you for that. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to Indo-Pacific Command, who maintains the Indo-Pacific Ocean free and open. I also thank MPVA of Korea, who supported this event so much. I have a very special feeling on the state of Hawaii, as it is the first state where the people of Korea began to immigrate to the United States. Furthermore, Hawaii accommodates Indo-Pacific Command. The Indo-PACOM in Hawaii is the most important command enabling the ROK-U.S. military alliance. I hope session 2 of today gives us good understanding of the role and function of Indo-PACOM, contributing the defense of the Republic of Korea and maintaining the stability of the region. I also thank to DPAA, who identified the remains of Korean soldiers recovered with U.S. soldiers and handed them to the Korean government. I hope DPAA maintains good cooperation with Korean MACRI, which is M&D Agency for KIA and MIA recovery and identification. Through the session 1 discussion, I hope to have good ideas to enhance the cooperation between these two great organizations. Some of you already knows, and as General Brooks said, General Brooks declared the activation of KDVA Hawaii chapter yesterday evening, which will be led by retired Colonel Richard Lance. I hope this organization functions very well to enhance to strengthen the KDBA. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republic of Korea has continuously had security threats by North Korea, especially nuclear threat. We cannot give up the effort to denuclearize North Korea. However, in the military perspective, we should have more emphasis on the deterrence. I hope the alliance to find out diverse courses of action to deter North Korea from using their nuclear capabilities. The successful deterrence will contribute much to the stability of Northeast Asian region and furthermore, the peace of the world. We also have some more agenda to solve, which may include wartime Afghan transition, combined training and exercises to maintain readiness, host nation support for the stable stationing of USFK, as well as the strategic cooperation each other. In this process, the spirit of alliance is most important. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for your support to the alliance. I hope this conference contributes the alliance to go forward one step. Thank you. We go together for the alliance.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are all aware of the continuing challenges of COVID-19 pandemic around the world. South Korea has been a world leader in quickly taking actions for health and safety. As the new Omicron variant began its spread, Korea added travel and health restrictions. All our Korea travelers must quarantine upon their return. For this and other government requirements, our sponsor, the Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs, was unable to attend this conference in person. But we greatly appreciate that Minister and Admiral retired Hwang Ki-chul, the Minister of Patriots and Veterans Affairs, has sent us a message. So we would like to ask Captain Oh Sun-kun, the Korean Defense Attaché in Honolulu, to please read the letter. So, Captain Oh, please.
Let me take off my mask. I can't mess this up. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me start by congratulating today's ROK-U.S. Alliance Peace Conference in Hawaii, where we reaffirm the strength of the ROK-U.S. Alliance and explore ways to promote our friendship together. I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Chairman and President of the Korea Defense Veterans Association, General Vincent Brooks, President of the Korea-U.S. Alliance Foundation, General Jung Seung, and their teams for working hard to organize today's conference. My special thanks goes to who will give speeches and participate in discussions, and Korean and American professors, experts, and military service members for gracing today's conference. Historically, humanity has to always pay the price of freedom and peace. The Korean War was not an exception. 71 years ago, young men and women of the 22 countries, including the United States, came to Korea, which was engulfed in smokes and fires of war. Thanks to veterans' great courage and noble sacrifice in brutal battlefields, where they were at the moment of life and death, we were able to defend the peace and freedom we cherish so much. However, we paid dearly for peace and freedom. Countless American sons and daughters fell under heavy fire. We have never forgotten that today's Republic of Korea exists thanks to their noble sacrifices that were made in a strange country for the people they never met. In this regard, Korea expresses its gratitude with the groundbreaking of the Wall of Remembrance in Washington, D.C. in May, and the dedication of the Orange County Korean War Memorial last month. Forged in the blood and sweat of UN veterans of the Korean War, the ROK-U.S. alliance is now evolving into a strategic alliance that goes beyond a military alliance encompassing politics, economy, society, and culture. Against this backdrop, we are facing a task of time to make an end-of-war declaration and bring permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula. We will never stop our efforts to go beyond the current harsh reality of a divided peninsula, but we will take steps toward a land of peace. Based on the solid ROK-U.S. alliance, continuous support from the cooperation with the United States will give us tremendous strength to promote the Korean Peninsula peace process. I hope that you will have meaningful discussions on how to expand and reinforce the ROK-U.S. alliance based on cooperation in recovering the remains of military service members who fell in action and promoting ROK-U.S. defense and diplomacy. Once again, congratulations on the ROK-U.S. Alliance Peace Conference, and I wish you all good health and great happiness. Mahalo.